Good morning, everybody, and welcome to my presentation where I will be going through my rationale for my project for the Bright Lights campaign. The contents I will be discussing with you include about the project, the target audience, my final outcome idea, codes and conventions, the unique selling point, and how the product will meet the needs of the client and audience. Now about the project. Working with Sunderland Culture, a charity who are aiming to make the city of Sunderland a better place, they are to be hosting a mixed media exhibition for young minds to showcase their talents. I have been set to create a product with any form of media I wish, ranging from a video format to a physical print. The choice and options are endless. Now, who are my target audience? My product will be aimed towards a young age group, being 16 to 25-year-olds. The goal with this is to encourage young people and get them more engaged with their talents, whilst also developing their knowledge on local talent as well as the cultural awareness and diversity for the city. Research on my audience has been done, allowing my product to connect more with the aimed audience. To get this done, a survey had been put together with relevant questions to the project. Once ready, the said survey was sent around to a total of 8 people who the project is meant for. By the end, I had received responses back from 6 of those 8. Not the largest number, but I still got what I need to continue working on my product. As for my product, there was a total of 3 ideas that had came to mind for me to develop, but of course as of now there is only one I will be able to move forward with. My first idea was to develop a short film that would be in the comedy genre. Inspiration for this came from Simon Pegg's The Shaun of the Dead. Thinking the Red v Black, Mackem v Geordie, basing off of the feud between these two teams, the cities would clash, bringing those from Newcastle through to Sunderland in a rage of a civil war. Not just that, but references would be placed all over, one example being the star-crossed lovers from Romeo and Juliet, so a lot of hidden Easter eggs, that's a better way to put it. As for my second idea, reading about the historic figure Robert Bowes, a man in Sunderland who helped the unpopulous city increase in importance and respect. By finding a better use for poor quality coal, creating salt and exporting the rich coal, he really helped in creating a name for Sunderland. With this, I believe a well worth educated short film could have been made sharing what this man had done for the city. Idea 3. Whilst doing my research into the history of Sunderland, I had found that Britain's first ever female serial killer had came from Sunderland. Catching my attention, another short film idea came up. Either using her as the central focus or a victim, enough research will be uncovered to create an accurate biography on this killer, more or less like the Ted Bundy type films. Codes and conventions, with 4 different codes to look into. The first one is symbolic codes. Wanting to make this as accurate as possible, anything that could be placed with a deeper meaning will be. That's including quotes, objects, placements, all related to the actual story, even if the audience don't get it. Technical codes. With the cinematography, a serious tone will be played out. No over-the-border dramatic editing nor camera shots. More filmed in a way as to the audience are able to engage themselves with what's going on, like an actual drama film. Written codes. Dialogue is a considerable option, but with that I hope to avoid the script coming off as cheesy. So if it comes to it, the film may be a silent one, but with a different idea that I've come up with recently, dialogue will probably be used, but like I said there, an aim to make it as uncheesy as I can will be the target. Conventions, there will be a continuity going from the start of the story leading up to the end. The unique selling point I believe I have here relies on the fact that there isn't much of a film title, as far as I know, about the killer of focus. I did come across a 2-part series titled Dark Angel, digging into the killer's motives as if it were made for fiction. But the name Mary Ann Cotton remains unheard of, unlike names including Jeffrey Dahmer and John Wayne Gacy, who many have learnt to recognise. Now, how will this meet the client's needs? With my product in the format of a video, I will be educating the audience on what may be a small part but still a section of Sunderland's history. Going back to the Victorian era, focusing on someone who was from the city. They may not be the best of all people, but young audiences seem to be really into their serial killers with all of those Netflix documentaries popping up. And whilst doing my target audience research, I had learnt that most crime drama series are certified 15 with a target audience of 15 to 40-year-olds. And as strange as it could come across for young people to be interested in the history for killers, but it was found in 2020 with a study that crime shows are among the most watched genred series, with so many being fascinated by the intentions of these killers, not just existing ones either. There is also a theory as to why we enjoy watching serial killers act out so much, going by the forbidden thinking theory. In conclusion, as long as I don't come out with a boring product full of unnecessary additions, the audience are likely to enjoy it. Thank you for all being here and listening to my presentation. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to say now.
I think it was, first of all, very good. You definitely did a lot of research with things like Netflix, but I would also say that you could explain things like forbidden thinking, mostly just because you had it there as an example and it wasn't completely explained.
Alright, wait. The theory of forbidden thinking basically says that the reason we enjoy watching like horror films and like documentaries about serial killers is because they do things that we can get tempted to do. We are watching them do what we think of doing but won't do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Good. Any more like suggestions maybe on the product or questions, comments?
Are you gonna set it in the Victorian era?
I will be, yes.
That's gonna be a little difficult to do, don't you think? What's your plan for trying to do that?
I will be working this out mostly in pre-production, so it's not all there, but I do have little like bits, like going to charity shops, and then and since the settings are in the northeast, I can just travel around and try find those areas. It'll all be set.
What if you tried filming in Beamish?
Why Beamish?
Because it's already like Victorian-esque. Like it looks Victorian.
I will look into that. Thank you for that suggestion. Anything else? Again, thank you all for attending, and I hope you enjoyed